General quarters, all hands man your battle stations.
Broadcasting live on WNN 1470 AM, 95.3 FM, iHeartRadio, and the World Wide Web. This is Make America Think Again with your Google Blacklisted host, Tom Trento.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
All right. As I say all the time, you have nothing to worry about. You're not in danger, Will Robinson, at all. That was a great television show. When I was a little kid, I used to watch that show with the robot. Scared the heck out of me, man. Tom Trento, your host.
Why didn't they kill Dr. Smith like a first
I
episode?
don't know. I was so sad when it went off the air, but that's life. 11:04 in the morning. Tom Trento, your host, WNN 1470, and you can also listen to us. And we got a whole lineup today. What a great show! Every day is a great show because our goal is to make America think again. Don't you like thinking? Why did God give you a brain? He gave you a brain. Well, that's an interesting conundrum. God gave you a brain. Well, if there isn't a God, could you have a brain? If there isn't a God, that'd be an interesting philosophical issue someday.
Cognito ergo sum.
But today we deal with evangelicals, This is gonna be a class on evangelicals. Who are these people? Are they dangerous? Are they around the corner? Or do they have cells around the United States? Who are they? Well, we were with 5,000 of them last Friday in Miami. And 45 showed up. 45 showed up just a day after he unleashed hell on the Iranian revolution, because it's in constant revolution, the Islamic Republic of Iran. 45 showed up, and we're going to detail everything that took place. We got two wonderful friends of ours, Sue Trombino, who heads up WIN, an organization that focuses on Christian women around the United States. And then a little later in the show, we have the inimitable Willy G.
Willy G, man.
Willy G. Willy Guardiola. He's a dear friend of ours, came to Israel with us. I'm going to get Sue to go. She hasn't been with us yet. But Willy is one of the preeminent Christian activists, pro-life, pro-Trump, pro-Israel, pro-everything positive, drives the bad guys crazy. He will be here a little later in the show. And we were with Willy the other day. Mark, what were we doing with him?
Yeah, we're waving at Trump, bringing him from the golf course to Mar-a-Lago, and from Mar-a-Lago to the airport. And we watched Air Force One go overhead. It was a good event, really good event. And what really surprised me was the amount of people that turned up. I mean, there's more people that turned up at that than show up at a Biden rally.
Yeah. And this is very geographically, for those of you listening on the west coast of the United States, 8 o'clock in the morning, you turn on the radio and listen to us as you're having your coffee, sitting out, just wondering, looking at the expanse of the ocean or the mountains, and you're wondering, why do I live in California? What am I doing here? This is a crazy state. And ironically, we have a dear friend of ours, Andrew, from the state of California. Is Andrew by a microphone?
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Andrew, what's happening?
So nice to be here in sunny Florida. And yeah, it's looking a little bit more attractive, I gotta say, than LA right now.
We don't want no lefties from Florida. Stay where you are. Are you a lefty?
I'm no lefty.
Oh, okay.
But Hannity said it right. He said, you're gonna move to Texas, you're gonna move to Florida. Don't bring that ideology. Don't be voting the way you did.
Well, that's what happens. The people from New York and New Jersey, where I'm from, they go, oh man, taxation and smog and stupid people and obnoxious people. They're the obnoxious people, right? Obnoxious people and all of this. Let's go to Florida. Let's go where it's beautiful.
Just one thing I noticed being here, where I'm living in LA, there is homeless everywhere, every street, everywhere. I come down here, West Palm Beach, I haven't seen one homeless person, and it's warmer here. They always make that argument, hey, it's warm. That's why the homeless moved down there. But where's all your homeless? Because it's warmer. Where are they?
Well, we have a program where we give them a ticket, an airline ticket. We tell them they're going on vacation. And then we parachute them into Newark, New Jersey, where I'm from. And then we put them up in housing in Newark, New Jersey. Oh, excuse me. That's New York City. That's what New York City does. They ship their homeless across the Hudson River into these housing complexes in the Newark is sort of on its way back. but they put them up in houses there. They have all these homeless people start coming, and the people in Newark are going, and for people in Newark to say, who are these people? You know it's got to be pretty bad. And then they outed de Blasio, and he said, oh, well, that was a mistake. We got to figure out what we're doing here.
Oopsie.
You know, the left's worldview, the Marxist socialist left worldview, to the degree that your philosophical, your political system, your understanding of life is not in accord with reality, or another word the philosophers use. To the degree what you believe is not in accord with that which is true, inevitably it will collapse upon itself. And all you need is someone like us to point out the deficiencies of your belief system, and the walls start falling in. And tomorrow's show is a show we taped last week. Last Thursday, we were going to air it Friday, but Iran got hit, Soleimani. So we did a special show on Friday. So the show we're playing tomorrow is a deconstruction analysis, a very cool presentation we did with a little bit of edutainment, our entertainment in it and all of that, on the Declaration of Independence. Don't miss tomorrow's show. And we juxtapose, we compare side by side the words written by how many people? 54, I think. Mark, you said?
56, was it?
56. And how many of them gave their lives for this piece of paper?
It was the last line of the Declaration says it all. Our lives, our fortunes, our sacred honor. Every one of them gave one of those three things.
Yeah, and we juxtaposed the originators of this 245 year experiment here of constitutional republic. We juxtapose, we compare the people that wrote this and had this idea with the people now that want to be president on the Marxist leftist side. And we simply say, making America think again, if you're going to vote on November 3rd, which you need to, then imagine walking into the voting booth. And this is a very graphic visual we're going to burn into your subconscious in the days ahead. We want you to envision walking in, one arm George Washington and the other arm Abraham Lincoln, and you walk in with those two guys and you point to Bernie Sanders and you look at them, and what are they going to say, Mark? If you point,
who? What? He's even running for election? Are you kidding me?
I think Abraham Lincoln would go, well, son, or ma'am, you probably need to reconsider that. I think George Washington had a little more fire in him. He'd go, are you freaking crazy? Are you out of your mind? Get out of here.
I'm going to shoot you guys.
Yeah.
Washington was Italian.
Yeah, right. He had to be Italian. George Washington had some Italian in him. Yeah. No, but you compare your decision making, and each person is important. I was here in 2000 when it was 536 votes that determined. In the county I'm in, I still have my hanging chad balance. I was here in 2000 when the Supreme Court finally said, enough counting, enough. George Bush is the president, not Al Gore. Thank God for that. But 536 votes, which is 255 people, made the difference. 255 people out of now a population of 20 million. 9.5 million voted in 2016, but Donald Trump only won by 112,000 here in Florida. So we're here to help everyone think intelligently, not only in voting, but in life. That's it.
And it's not only just Donald Trump that we have to worry about. We have to get rid of the Congress. If we don't get rid of the Congress, it's going to be more Maxine Waters, more Nancy Pelosi.
Maxine Waters! Now, I'd like to hear from her a little later on.
Peach 45!
You're going to hear from Andrew a little later. He's going to tell us a story, a true California story about Maxine Waters, who, what does she say all the time?
Peach 45!
And Peach 45. All right, we'll hear about that a little later in our Okay, it's time to be crazy portion of the show. But today we're gonna, as I said, we're gonna deal with these evangelicals. I'm Tom Trento, you're a host. J. Mark is in there. You in there? Weigh in, Mark. You there? Say check.
Peach 45.
All right. How about Midwest Dick? You with us?
In Peach 45.
And Andrew, you there?
Beats for the
Okay,
man.
all right. We have the whole crew here today. Sit back and enjoy this. Donald Trump. The question is Donald Trump a Christian? And I want everybody to think that through. What does that presuppose? If somebody were to ask a question, is X a Christian? Uh-oh, are we okay? I made a mistake here.
Okay, yeah, I'll check it out.
I didn't do what I normally
Okay,
do.
I know.
We may have to
I'll
do
take care of
that. So I totally dropped the ball on some of our preparation here with OG, but that's okay. We're getting it covered. We have some protocols we need to follow here with some of our staff, and I dropped the ball on a particular staff member who may need a little assistance right now. All right, Tom Trento, your host. Everything's fine. We are going to ask the question. I already asked the question. Is Donald Trump a Christian? What does that question presuppose, Midwest Dick? You got to get close there. Nope, you're not on. Try that mic over there. No, he didn't push the button. Okay. Yeah, you hang there. Sue's on the line, so I'm going to go right to Sue. Sue Trombino, are you with us, Sue? Hello, Sue. Are you there? All right, we're looking for Sue. Okay. All right, we're getting Sue Trombino. She runs an organization. Sue, you there?
Yes, I am.
How you doing?
I'm doing awesome, thanks. How are you doing today?
Great. We're doing great
love
here.
The show. Love
yeah,
the show.
we're having fun. Look, you and I know, because you've been in this battle a long time, that we fight hard, we fight for the truth, and we never stop, we never give up. But you gotta kick back a little bit and laugh and smile. Something very difficult for the left to do. They don't usually do that. So we have coined a term here at Trento, the Trento Show, edutainment. We educate, that's our desire, but we also like to entertain a little bit. But now we're shifting to is everything okay over there, Mark?
Yeah.
Good, okay. Now we're shifting to the educational part. Sue Trombino, dear friend, she runs Women Impacting the Nation. Sue, give us a little overview as to what WIN, W-I-N, Women Impacting the Nation is all about.
Well, Sue's pretty entertaining too. Don't just,
I know, she's an entertaining lady. She knows how to rock and roll.
Our mission statement actually is we educate and equip women and men with knowledge of God's truth about our faith, our family, and our freedoms, and then we help support those who take a stand for the Judeo-Christian principles upon which our country was founded. And what we do is we have WIN talks. They're like book clubs around the country, and you meet for an hour and 20 minutes. You get educated with truth and facts, not emotion, not conjecture, or really even our opinions, because we're all entitled to our opinion. We're just not entitled to our own facts. So I kind of stir the pot, and I get you to think. As you all know, we've become a nation of non-thinkers, and Karl Marx said a nation of non-thinkers is easily led. And so just always appreciate you, Tom and Mark, and just staying the course and persevering and standing for, our America. America, we're not perfect, but we're exceptional. And, obviously a lot of your listeners don't know that I'm from Venezuela originally, and so I have a real passion about obviously the military, my family. My dad was a 1st Marine Division Guadalcanal. My brother's a Marine. My mom was a Wave. And I guess this is my duty now, is to get in the fight this way. So we're just going around the state, well, actually the country, but right now focusing on Florida with a tour called Saving Our Republic, Ensuring Liberty. So we're just excited to stand for truth, stand for America, and because when we show up, we win. We just need to show up.
When we show up, we win.
Right.
That's pretty good.
But you speak like 50 million languages too, don't you, Sue?
Just a couple.
So, folks, it's Tom Trento here, 11:17 in the morning, 11:18, WNN 1470, 95.3, iHeartRadio. You can listen anywhere. Our organization is The United West. We work closely with other organizations like Sue's WIN, Women Impacting the Nation, women and men, of course. You don't discriminate. But Sue, you would be considered one of those crazy, from the other side's perspective, right-wing, religious fanatic Christians.
Not yet. Yeah.
Oh, yes, I am out of the closet, card-carrying, unashamed Christian, number one. Number two, I'm a conservative. And number three, I'm a Frederick Douglass Republican, in that order. And I have drawn a line in the sand, and I know what I believe and why I believe it. And yes, I am. So thank you for the compliment.
That's the way you handle that, ladies and gentlemen, just like that. You said something earlier that people are entitled to their own opinions, but not their own facts. Now, before we get into the evangelical movement and the rally the other night, how have you, I think I'm getting a little bit of reverb, how have you handled conversations, because you engage, you're a very public figure, you engage with people on the left, how have you handled this conflict and this situation where you're trying to have a conversation with a socialist on the left, and you were born in a socialist country, so you know of what you speak politically. You run a 501c3, so you understand religiously from a theistic Christian point of view. How do you engage in a constructive argument with someone that thinks they're entitled to their own facts?
Well, I mean, that's a great question, Tom. I think sometimes first of all, it's hard to engage with anybody if you don't even know what you believe. So that's kind of what we teach when we have a methodology at WIN of you have to know what you believe and then why you believe it. Now, for me, yes, I was born in Venezuela. I've lived pretty much all over the world in Central South America. I've lived in the Muslim world, then, obviously to Israel and, Europe and all that. So I come from a little different perspective, but what I'd like to do is, I don't want to lose my witness when I'm speaking to somebody. Now, there's going to be people out there that you're never going to change their mind. They're lost, they're deceived. And so you just have to kind of move on, but you want to always plant a seed. And so I always ask a question. It's like, well, where did you get that information from? Asking the questions, why do you believe that? And where did you get that? And I turn it around and making them think. And when if you know what you believe and you stand with truth, but without smashing them or, you have to really kind of work at that because you want to walk away where they don't know if they got hugged or slugged.
Wow, that's very good. And in full disclosure, your host here, Tom Trento, and many of you may know because I'm unapologetically an evangelical Christian. I'm out of the closet many, many years, but I have a formal training in Christian theology and Christian philosophy at a graduate level. I taught at a graduate level. I've been, all over the place, and I'm trained as a Christian apologist, someone who defends the
Moody Bible Institute.
Yeah, Moody's going to get in trouble now. I'm trained as an apologist, someone who defends the truth claims of the Christian faith. And Sue, what I have made a career out of doing is when I deal with somebody on the left or someone, and I deal with a lot of the isms, the atheism and all this stuff. You ask, we've developed a Socratic approach. This is for another show, but I'll just lay it out very quickly. Instead of me telling someone what I believe, because they're incapable, because they have this veneer on and these protective mechanisms, intellectual mechanisms in place, they can't understand the words I'm saying. I ask a series of 2 questions, and you alluded to the questions. I'll ask them, that's an interesting, does God exist? And they'll give me something, and I'll go, what do you mean? I mean, what do you mean God doesn't exist? Explain that to me. And you keep asking the what do you mean question, what do you mean, to get them to articulate their position, which they don't know. And they stumble around for a while, and you exhaust their capability of answering the what do you mean question. Then you shift to, I think I understand what you mean now, but how do you know that is true? And then they're dead because they can't support a position. They don't even know how they got to it. They can't support it. in any factual basis, and they start calling you names. Now you have to be careful. Do this in 2 or 3 times. You can't do it all at once because you will get people mad at you. But this is the task we have as we confront this Marxist socialist ideology that's infiltrated the country, the left, and the Democrats. What did you think of the evangelical rally the other day at King Jesus Church in Miami with Pastor Guillermo Maldonado?
Well, let me tell you, Tom, I felt it was, we obviously were able to, we were very blessed to be able to get in a little early. My girlfriend, Debbie Healy from Family Research Council and I, we took our bus down there, and we got down there about 4:30 in the morning, and then we were there just doing some petitions for the, and I'm going to plug this, it's the Human Life Protection Amendment petition. So we did about 400 petitions while we're waiting in line. Then we get in, about 2 o'clock we got in. And once President Trump came on, it was, and I'll give you a little snippet of what some of the people that I was hanging out around with felt, like Matt Staver of Liberty Counsel and those kind of guys. Not only did they start with a prayer, he interceded, let me say it this way. Trump was, we started with a handful of people praying over him. How brilliant is that? Because without prayer, a lot of people talk about that shining city on the hill. Well, unless that shining city is on its knees, it's not going to make a hill of bean a difference. And this is what's awesome about what Trump and his team is doing. They really get now that prayer is going to be the catalyst to everything. But
let me ask you this, Sue, because you identified, and we have Sue Trombino on the line. And before we go any further, Sue, because our audience cycles in and out, they got to run to the store and jump out. How could people get in touch with you, Sue Trombino, Women Impacting the Nation? How do they get in touch with you?
Go to womenimpactingthenation.org.
Womenimpactingthenation.org.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, great. You raised the... What's that? Go ahead.
No. What I was going to say is that Trump...
No, hang on. I got a question for you because you raised that image. I want to get clear in the listeners' eyes and in their head, their visual head, this image of this huge church, 5,000 people, gigantic church, big stage, unbelievable sound system. When the bass hit, the whole building was rocking.
Right.
Phenomenal facility. And the president is up there. There's about 10 men and women, religious leaders around him, laying hands on him, praying for him. And the next day, some of the mainstream media reported and tweeted cult-like meeting, religious fanatics touching Trump. How do you explain to somebody that thinks that this was a cult-like meeting with people with hands on Donald Trump? What is all that about?
Well, first of all, I would like to ask them, well, what do you mean by a cult? See, I'm going to turn around and ask them a question. Most people don't even know what that means. So first of all, what is a cult? And, get them to answer that. And so, and you have to understand that a lot of these people in the media and the left and even some, I hate to say it, some quote unquote Christians, they really don't even have a clue what that means. Do you even know what it means to be even an evangelical? Do you really know what it means to be a Christian? And so we use that word kind of willy-nilly, and people don't even know. So when people, for me anyway, I'm just speaking for me, when people, say something about, oh, that's a cult-like thing, or that's, they're laying it. Well, what do you mean by that? What is offensive to you that, that our country was founded in prayer? Our country was founded on, so why is it so bad now? Why is it that the media, first of all, if anybody's listening to the media except for you guys or, on cable or whatever,
Right.
if you're listening to that, you're it's not what they're saying, it's what they're not saying. And now, people are tending to listen to things that quote unquote sound good Well, if it sounds good, that's no pun intended today, it's a big red flag. So don't even listen to the media, because everything they're saying is they're trying to, in my world, the dark is being revealed and truth is being released. People, they're just, it's a spiritual battle. And for those of you out there that don't even understand that, it is a spiritual battle. And so I'm not so upset about them personally, because they don't know what they're talking about. And so I just kind of don't give them credence. And if we, the Christian, would just stand for that and don't worry about, faith and fear can't coexist. I mean, I can go all over this place here with that question, but you have to ask them, what do you mean by what is a cult? Right. Because if you understand the definition of a cult, no, it's not.
All right. Well, here's I'm gonna have to let you go in a little bit here, but here's a very, very important question. It's the bottom of the hour. Tom Trento, your host, WNN 1470 95.3. We have a special guest with us, dear friend Sue Trombino. Nice Italiano name. Yeah. Midwest Dick. You like that name?
Got a vowel at the end.
Got a vowel at the end.
I'll buy a vowel.
And some of the people she's associated with like to smoke cigars, so we like that too. But Sue's a tremendous warrior, a very feminine woman, a very upstanding and polite. She would be, if you look in the Bible, if you look in the dictionary under Christian woman, you'd see a picture of Sue Trombino. Now, I'm setting you up for the kill here, Sue. Okay, you ready? How does such a wonderful, discreet, feminine, biblically based woman like you vote for an evil, immoral man like Donald Trump?
Well, first of all, that's all fake news. That's just silly. I mean, you're just not educated. But this is what I'm going to end with here, is that Trump was authentic. Not only was he authentic, but he did things that night that no president has ever done. And for those, I'm going to say this, for those who criticize him, I invite you to spend some time around him and stop forming opinions by what is portrayed in the media. I mean, for him to bring up two women, and one woman, a little young gal in particular from Fresno State, who had a pro-life message. She was on a college campus, and she decided to keep her baby. He gave others, time to share. He was at ease and very comfortable with 6,000-7,000 evangelicals. You really need to get educated on what is it that you believe, and stop listening to, having the pundits pulling you around by the nose. And unfortunately, those that are being pulled around by the nose, really, I can tell you right now, you don't know what you believe or why you believe it. So you're going to be, you're going to be bouncing around, and you have to know what your non-negotiables are. Are you doing the hokey pokey? Are you in today and out tomorrow because of feelings? That's why we with our bus, we're doing truth and facts, not emotion and conjecture, but knowing what you believe is so vital. And, I just love this country, Tom. My dad was you guys know, my dad was a 1st Marine Division, Guadalcanal. He was a man of very few words. I got all those genes, as you all know. And, it's, America better wake up, because this is no longer about Republican or Democrat. If you're a Christian, it's not about the donkey or the elephant, it's about the lamb. But if you're just out there, this has nothing to do about Republican, Democrat. It's about a platform, and it's about America/patriotism versus socialism, communism, and Marxism. And if you don't think I'm right, then I want anybody to call Tom. Go to his number, and if you think socialism is okay, then you call Tom, and Tom will put you in touch with me, and I will give you a free ticket. And I'm not kidding. I call Casio's office every week trying to sit down with her. I want to give you a free ticket to go to where I come from, to Caracas, Venezuela. And I'm going to give you a free ticket, and you go there. The caveat is you're going to have to stay there for 6 months. You wouldn't last 2 days, let alone 2 weeks, let alone, whatever. Because in Caracas, and I'll say this last thing, right now, maybe 80% of Caracas has electricity. We have friends there that are doctors that their father helped deliver me. And they, once a week, they have to go into La Montaña, the mountains, to get water to bring it back there. They have numbers on their arms now because they have to stand in line. It takes 1 month's wages to buy one loaf of bread. Yeah. There are women who were doctors and lawyers and architects or whatever that are selling themselves just to get food to feed their families. So any American that is listening, and especially you left-leaning nuts, and I'm going to call you a nut, and I'm sorry if I'm being un-evangelical, but you are a nut because you don't even know what you're talking about. And every country I've lived in, Tom, and I get very serious about this, I've been in a coup. Every country I've lived in, there's been a coup. And so I didn't know that there, in West Africa, I didn't know I'd stay up late at night until my father came home because I didn't know if he would come home because 7 of his best friends who were priests were murdered by Masias Ngema, who was like an Idi Amin, just because he thought they were traitors. Well, they were priests. So people need to wake up in this country and get facts. Understand your Islam. Understand what is really out there. Understand that Trump, he may not be perfect, and he said that, but he's got your back, and he's got the back of America. And that's why I stand with this man, because his yes is his yes, his no is his no. And I will challenge anybody to show me one tweet that he has ever said that is not factual. You may not like the way he says it. I don't know how you have a tone in tweet anyway, but, or email. But I don't care if you don't like him or not, show me where it's not factual. And he's saving our republic. And we are a republic, not a democracy, not a, whatever, Democrat, socialism, which that's a misnomer. But people get educated, find your facts, not on the media, except for Tom's, Trento's, radio show and some other good radio shows, but get educated and then we've got to get engaged. You've got to be registered. There are 25 million Christians who are not even registered to vote. 15 million chose not to vote. But when we show up, we win. And your next guest, I think it's Willie, is going to tell you, especially if you're a Catholic, you need to get registered. If you're a Christian and you're not registered, you need to get registered. Yep. Do not be a could've, would've, should've type of person. And, cause if you lose America, where do you go from here? And that's what I'll leave with your listeners.
All right.
If you become because when we show up, we win.
Preach it, lady. Preach it. Sister, preach it.
You guys
all
are
right.
awesome.
Sue
I'm glad I'm on your side.
Yeah. All right. You too.
We appreciate you coming. And look, we got an interesting show today. We have Sue born in Venezuela. And now we got Willie G born in Cuba. We got another socialist on the line.
Man, how many socialists we bring on the show, Tom?
I know. Willie G, you there?
I am here, Tom Trento. Good
Cubano,
morning.
my Cubano brother.
Well, I have a simpler thing than Sue does. Tom said, have him go to you, then you'd just send him to me. I'll just hit him in the head with a baseball bat. It's a lot quicker.
Yeah. Well, look, you can vote Marxism in, socialism. You can vote it in. I mean, people may vote a Marxist president in on November 3rd. You can vote your way into socialism. You got to shoot your way out of socialism.
That's a good idea.
That's the problem. Willie G, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Just finished putting out another email, and I couldn't wait to go on the radio with you guys. So listen to a little bit of Sue Trombino, and I'm ready to roll. Beautiful day out.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. And what we're doing today on the 7th of January, Tuesday, Tom Trento, your host, Make America Think Again. That's our raison d'etre. That's our reason for existing. We want to stimulate thinking among Americans so you can vote intelligently on November 3rd, 2020. Our organization is the United West, uniting the Western world against Islamic Jihad, which is now joined with Karl Marx and his little fun and games for 150 years. And that new cabal, the red-green axis, is infiltrating the United States in general, and specifically has chosen Florida as ground zero to defeat President Trump. The red-green, the Mohammedans and the Marxists are battling here, heavily funded, want to defeat Trump, which means defeating conservative people that include conservative Jewish people politically and Christians. And this is the preeminent battleground state with 29 electoral votes. And one of the preeminent Christian activists is on the line with us now.
He's amazing. He's
Give
amazing.
him a hand for being here with us.
He's amazing, man.
You do amazing work, Christian.
Well, he's the one who got everybody out there for this rally this weekend, Tom. I mean, a phone call and a couple things. And how many people were out there, Willie? How many people were at this rally?
We had over 200 people on Sunday at the Southern Boulevard rally, and I'll tell you, it was probably the most enthusiastic crowd that I've seen out there in the last couple of years. And other than one policeman, which you guys knew was a little bit out of line himself, if it wasn't for him, it would have been a little more enthusiasm. But it was just a wonderful day after President Trump being here 17 days and everything that he went through, and just to give him a beautiful send-off like that. He loves when he sees all the Trumpers out there. It's double thumbs up when he drives by with the beast, and it's just a great feeling. That's the last image that he sees in Palm Beach before he jumps on Air Force One, and of course we saw him fly right above us when he was leaving. That was a great feeling.
That was amazing. And what we're doing, folks, for our listening audience out there at, what time is it? It is 39 minutes after the hour, WNN 1470, 95.3. Or just go to iHeart, download WWNN 1470, download it, and you got us wherever you go, wherever there's you don't even need the internet. It works off the cell system. You can listen to us all the time, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock East Coast time, every single day, weekdays. We'll be here all the rest of the year. Our goal, mobilize 1,000,001 evangelical Christians to vote on November 3rd. You heard Sue say 25 million nationwide. There's between 1 and 5 million, probably 3 is the number, evangelicals that have not voted.
You mean the cult of evangelicals?
Yeah,
the 3 million evangelical cult?
Our goal is to get them out to vote. Now, Willie G., you are a dyed-in-the-wool hardcore Catholic, and you're running around, you're a Hatfield, you're running around with we Protestants here, and you were in a charismatic Pentecostal church watching the president get hands laid on him. How did a good Catholic boy like you from Cubano make sense out of all of this?
You know, it's just amazing. Like I put in my recap email, I grew up in Miami, 38 years living out there, mostly in that West Kendall area. And I used to run the biggest basketball operation in all South Florida. And that was pretty much my hunting ground out there in the Kendall area. And I'm driving out there to go to this place. I'm like, this church didn't even exist when I was living out there. And it had been 10 and a half years since I went out there. And just to see the way West Kendall has grown and to see the size of this church, I'm like, where did this come from? And it was just an incredible event for me. It just to be surrounded by people from Nicaragua, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Venezuela. I mean, to see these diehard Trumpers. I mean, these people are from third world countries and communist countries, socialist countries, include myself from Cuba coming in 61. And just being surrounded by these people wearing Trump MAGA hats and screaming at the top of their lungs, especially when Trump made that announcement about, free in Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba sometime in the near future. And then, it was just a standing ovation. So it was a wonderful feeling to be in the middle of West Kendall with 6,000 people and all these evangelicals, and then, all the pastors up there, just to watch Paula White lay her hands on President Trump and pray. And it was just a great, terrific event all the way across.
Beautiful, beautiful. We have Willie G on the line, ladies and gentlemen, and Tom Trento, your host in the control room. We have J. Mark, we have Midwest Dick, and we got Andrew from California. You'll hear a little later from Andrew. He's got a couple of things he wants to share with us. Impeach 45. We'll get to that later on. But Willie G, you're a unbelievable, really unbelievable. I've been in the activism world a long time.
He is unbelievable.
You know, I'd go to war with you. We are at a war. And
he was a former referee for NCAA, SEC, right?
The SEC side, yep. Tell people about your ministry. You left a very lucrative career with basketball camps and a highly distinguished referee in the SEC for the NCAA. You left that. God called you to do something else. What are you doing now, and how does that relate to Donald Trump in the election on November 3rd?
That's a great question there. I pretty much ran for about 27 years a huge basketball operation in Miami-Dade County. And basically, I had the entire market. I mean, anybody that moved in from New York or California say, hey, I got 2 kids, ages 8 and 10, where can I put them in basketball? Boom, call Willie G. My phone number back then was 25B-ball. So make the right call, call 25B-ball. And that's what I did for so many years. And I had the entire market, kids camps, youth leagues, high school leagues, corporate leagues, adult leagues, and then, of course, the referee camps and officiating in the SEC. So, long story short, back in 2004, when the west coast of Florida got hit by Hurricane Charlie, I saw the devastation out there, and I went to Arcadia, and I'm like, wow, you know, what happened here? It was a Cat 4. I got out of church, went to Publix right here at Marisol, and I asked the manager, said, hey, give me a couple of stock clerks here. I'm going to wipe out your shelves. And literally, I just filled out 5 shopping carts of bottled waters, canned foods, etc. And I just drove over to the West Coast there. Didn't know a single person out there. And that's where I started my hurricane relief. And I did that for a few weeks and ran into a couple of people from my church and said, Willie, you need to get incorporated. You're doing all this kind of stuff. So I continued doing, you know, these things and doing mission trips down to Nicaragua and also Haiti. And then in 2006, I incorporated as Christian on a Mission, working pretty much with the poor, the homeless, the orphans. In Nicaragua, I sponsored 65 orphans for one orphanage itself. And then, of course, working with the unborn has been my biggest thing over the past, I would say, 13, 14 years. And that's my focus, is the pro-life vote here for President Trump. And that's what I introduced to this campaign locally 3.5 years ago. And that's, you know, we got pro-lifers for Trump now. It's a huge ordeal. And we've got a big meeting next Wednesday. And it's something that I truly believe the pro-life vote, the evangelical vote, this is where we're really going to win this election on November 3rd. So that's my focus right now, Tom, as you know, pro-life.
Yeah, that's an amazing progression from where you were, lucrative businessman to a missionary living on donations. How can people get in touch with you?
Well, the easiest thing to do is just hit me on my email, which my email address is willyguardiola@yahoo.com, and it's Willy, WILLYGUARDIOLA@yahoo.com. Or my cell number, I've got my cell on 24/7.
Don't give your number out. Don't give that out.
Don't give that out.
I have no problem giving out my phone number because I get calls whenever I go on with Jim Sedlak with Stop, STOPP, that's Stop Planned Parenthood. I get calls from all over the country, and it's an interesting thing because they're always picking my brain and say, Willie, you guys in Palm Beach, you're involved with so many things. You cover, a ton of different issues. And when they see these emails, they see these pictures, these Trump rallies, Southern Boulevard, Trump Corner, they finally get, hey, we need to start doing this. And we were talking about this last night at my meeting with Palm Beach County Right to Life. Can you imagine if we had Trumpers like we have here in Palm Beach County in D.C., and when Trump lands in D.C., instead of getting the middle finger, 200 people came to greet him? And that would be an incredible thing. But he gets the loving here in Palm Beach County, and that's why he's made it the official residence, going back in October. And he loves it here, and he loves to see us there. So, but the pro-life movement right now, I really see it on a tremendous upswing, and that's how I got into the Catholic churches. I'm very good friends with Bishop Barbarito, who's been our bishop here for over 15 years. He started in 2003. And starting next Sunday, I'm going to be hitting 53 parishes from Boca all the way up to Sebastian. That covers 5 counties, and it's all the Catholic churches. You're talking 300,000 parishioners to do voter registration. And
Wow.
as a matter of fact, Sue Trombino, who was just on a few minutes ago, she's got the bus, and I'm going to coordinate with her bus to come out to some of the bigger churches, including my church, the Cathedral St. Ignatius. So that's
Beautiful.
good stuff right there. Yeah.
And Willie is part of our whole coalition with Sue Trombino to mobilize thousands of people to do voter registration. That's our goal. Well, here's what we have to do. I was going to open it up for the guys here. They got a million questions, but we have a special guest from California we're trying to squeeze in before the show's over. You need to, Willie G, you need to come to the studio
Exactly.
at least once a week, and we'll do a special on your work on the pro-life issue. That is the most critical issue facing humanity, and I'll make that argument. I know you can make that argument. And we have never had a more pro-life president who's contouring the federal courts and the Supreme Court with people that have a respect for human life, birth, during life, and at the end of life. And you determine the quality, you determine the essence of a culture based upon how they treat the weakest member, whether it's an unborn member or an elderly member who doesn't have a brain anymore, but he's still existing somehow. So that's the essence of what we are. And that thing is gone. That thing is gone. But I gotta let you go. We need you to come in at least once a week in here. We'll do a special show with you each week. You want to do that?
Yeah. Hey, Tom, just one quick thing before I go, just to let everybody and your listeners know. In the 9 months from January to September of 2019, in Florida alone, registration, get this now, 2-1 with Republicans over Democrats. 23,000 new registers that we had here in Florida compared to 10,700 for the Democrats. So that's great news, and that's what we're focused on right now.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Yeah. Way to go.
Yeah.
All right, Willie. We will catch you around. We'll see you next week in studio, and we'll rock and roll. Thank you, Willy Guardiola. Tom Trento here at 50 minutes after, 10 minutes before the noon hour. We got about 6 or 7 minutes left. We want to get Andrew in, our buddy Andrew. Now, what does he have for us, Mark?
Well, why are you here, man?
Well, I'm here hanging out with you guys, but I was thinking of a movie idea, and I thought it would go over well in at least some parts of the country, so I thought I'd just run it by you guys to see if you think it's a good movie idea. So,
okay, now we're switching from the sublime to the ridiculous. Now we're going to the ridiculous. I want to make that point. All right, Andrew, let's hear pitch us your movie. Okay?
Pitch us your movie, yeah.
All right.
We're in the movie business.
So, this Maxine Waters in California has this big multi-million-dollar mansion. And I'm thinking 50 years from now in the future, there's this doctor that cured cancer. And he's got this nice little family, daughter and wife, and they decide to buy this mansion, gets it at a cheap price because some weird stuff's going on in the mansion and nobody can sell it. So he gets it at a cheap price, and they move in, and about a week into it, they're hearing all kinds of weird things and screw things and things falling down and sounds and stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so one night though, the daughter's sleeping and she hears this murmuring in the wardrobe, and she gets out of bed, she goes up and she opens the door, and then all of a sudden she sees the frightening, ghostly wrinkled visage of Maxine Waters. And Maxine Waters, her eyes bug out, and she says to the little girl, "Impeach 45! Impeach 45!" And that girl screams, and she goes,
What did she say?
Impeach 45!
Impeach 45. 50 years in the future?
Oh, yeah.
She's still
I get it. No, this is the ghost of
All
Maxine
right,
Waters.
okay.
Yeah. So the girl runs over to her, "Daddy, mommy, daddy, go, you gotta see this ghost over here." And the wife's just like, "Roger, can you please just show her it's not a ghost?" "No, mommy, you're coming with us." So the whole family goes out in the hallway, and down the hallway, they see Maxine Waters' ghost floating at the end of the hallway. Impeach 45, impeach 45. And then all of a sudden, poof, she's gone. Well, now the parents are freaked out. They call the cops. They call the fire department. They got everybody going through the house. They can't figure out what happened. And finally, the sheriff says, "Look, we know there's some weird stuff going on here. if you're into it, I got somebody that might be able to help you. It's
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. That's right. Now, 50 years from now, the Ghostbusters are really advanced. They know what they're doing. It's not like in Bill Murray's day. Like they really got their stuff together. Yeah. So, and then they got a priest. It's like a package deal comes together. So the next day they all come and they start setting up their computers and everything. And they put a little circle with candles and stuff like that. A little seance circle. The priest got his thing going. The Ghostbusters got their tech going. And then, the parents and the little girl are Googling, what is Peach 45? Like, what does that mean? You know, so like, they Google it and then they see all the videos of like Trump getting impeached and all that stuff. And finally they come across the video of Maxine Waters going, I'm going to say it over and over again. Impeach 45, impeach 45, impeachment. And they're like, that's the lady. That's who we saw. That's she's the congresswoman that used to own this house. Yeah, that's the ghost. That's her. Okay. So then the sun is setting and they, start calling the spirit of Maxine Waters and the priest is like, please come to us and, you must, let go. And it's time to let go, and you must go into the light. Spirit, please go into the light. And Maxine Waters appears, she floats down into the circle. She says, I cannot go into the light because I must indict. Must stop Trump. Must stop Trump. And then, all of a sudden, the little girl gets really brave, and she steps forward. Her mom's clutching her. She steps forward and she says, but, Ghost Maxine, Mommy told me, and Daddy told me that President Trump was the one that released our granddaddy from jail. What? Criminal justice reform? Yeah, criminal justice reform. And released, and he got him out of jail, and we're all okay, and he cured cancer, and everything's good. And then Maxine Waters' ghost comes up to the little girl, eyes bugging out, impeach 45. So the priest, they say, okay, if you're not going to go in the light, you're going to go into the netherworlds. That's the only place you can go. So the Ghostbusters open up a portal. All the hands and flames start coming out of the portal. They grab Maxine Waters' leg, these hands, and Maxine Waters looks down, says, John Dingle? Is that you? And then, whoosh, she goes down in the hole. And that's when the Ghostbuster says to the priest, wow, President Don Jr. is going to have to hear about this.
President Barron.
Barron, yeah. So what do you think? I think it'd be a good possibility.
It's a possibility.
Yeah,
I call your people.
Okay.
Right.
Normally a pitch in Hollywood, you got like 25 seconds.
Yeah.
But,
Elevator pitch.
But you may have something there. Peach 45. I know this. I got an earworm. I'm going to go through the rest of the day. Impeach 45. Impeach 45.
No, it's impeach 45.
But here's the connection. You know, I could always make a connection in whatever crazy thing we're doing. The impeachment is still going on. Donald Trump is viewed by the world. Don't listen to the mainstream media as a friggin' hero. The Arab world, the Sunni world, is praising Donald Trump. Europe is praising. Now, they may not say this. We did a documentary on General David Avery, and when Israel hit a nuclear reactor in Baghdad in 1981, June 7, 1981, the world condemned Israel, but all the back channel calls were going to the Israelis saying, great job, thank you, great job. That's what's happening now. This guy needed to be taken out, but the Democrats have become or continuing to become the propaganda wing for the Iranian government, and Maxine Waters is still trying to, he's been impeached, but he hasn't been removed. Unbelievable time to be alive in America.
I know. It's just incredible, and it just, Sue Trombino, Willie G, these are the people who are going to get it done. People like these people who get out there and get rid of the Congress and get rid of the Maxine Waters and that's how you're going to do it.
Can I just say something? I was just, on a cruise ship to the Bahamas for a couple days, and we had dinner with a minister, a Bahamian minister and his wife. Didn't know who he was. They just put us in the table right next to him, and we just started talking. And the first thing he started mentioning is, how can they impeach this guy? I don't understand it. And he was more interested in American politics than a lot of the Americans I meet, or anybody I met on that cruise that was American, by the way. But he was fascinated by it. And he knows that the Bahamian economy, is linked to whatever happens in America,
right.
And he was very, very concerned about it. He was really, he just couldn't believe that he thought it was just ridiculous that they were trying to impeach our president.
Yeah, absolutely. And Andrew from California, I'll tell you what, You may have something there with your movie. You get a distribution deal signed,
Yeah.
and we'll work on getting the money together for
Okay.
what are we going to call it? What are we going to call it?
Beach 45.
The working title, and Beach 45. All right. So, hey, I think we're coming down to our bewitching hour here.
Yeah.
About a minute left.
1 minute.
Midwest Dick, give me 30 seconds of your thoughts of the show today.
I think the message is show up. When we show up, we win. Willie and Sue are excellent. We have people like that. We're one team, one fight. We got to focus on show up and win, dealing with the facts like Sue Trombino. What a team you've got, Tom. Thank you for putting the team together.
Yeah, show up and we win. I think that's a good note to go out on. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Tell your friends tomorrow, the Declaration of Independence. You do not want to miss this. Thursday, Ken Abramowitz will be with us. And Friday, Tom Trento for the crew signing off. Have a wonderful Tuesday. See you tomorrow.